There is a standard high five afterwards. If you don't do it, you'll look foolish and your partner will think you're inexperienced. What's something that everyone should know about sex before they reach the age of 18? Welcome to another Storytime, hosted by yours truly, Andrew the Storyteller. Today's story is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm so certain you're going to enjoy it. Since you're already here, why not hit that like button and subscribe for more crazy stories? If you do subscribe, I'll send you a Riley Reid fleshlight. Anyway, let's get into the stories. Porn is not an instructional video. That having sex for the first time doesn't have to be some goal you try to achieve before high school ends or on some kind of deadline. Make sure you use enough lube. Not everyone self-lubricants the same way, so making sure things aren't dry can help avoid soreness later. Pulling out is not a viable option for not using a condom. Semen can come out before you climax, and that can get her pregnant too. If you don't have protection, do other stuff that doesn't need penetration. Before intercourse, you must stick your chest out and belch out your mating call. It's somewhere between a scream and a gargling sound. Very important, and I'm surprised how few people know this before their first time. 1. Listen to your partner's cues to know what works and, most importantly, doesn't work. 2. Safe sex is key. 3. Only use zebra suits that have open-closed dick holes with buttons or soft velcro, not metal zippers. 1. Obviously, enthusiastic and explicit consent is a must, and sex is an absolute no-go without it, no questions asked. 2. Listen to your partner, and more importantly, encourage them to tell you what feels good and what they want. Also, tell your partner what you want and what feels good. 3. Expect weird noises and, occasionally, smells. You might make a mess. Learn to expect these things. If you're a man, I assume you're masturbating. Try not to beat your meat to completion as quickly as possible. It's not a race. Enjoy the pleasure you get prior to climaxing. It'll help you last more than 2 pumps when you're having sex later on. Also, protection and consent and all the other stuff people are saying. Guys, at some point, even when you're young, your dick just won't work when you want it to. Whether because of alcohol, anxiety, circumstances, whatever. Accept it, explain to your partner the reason why you think it's happened, and move on. A good partner will understand completely and help you through it. If that partner doesn't understand or belittles your manhood because of it, find a different partner. This is going to get buried, but it's worth mentioning. You should obviously always use a condom, but if you are raw dogging it because she's on birth control, make sure you as a female know how other meds interact with your BC. The one girl in my high school got pregnant because she got sick and was on antibiotics. The antibiotics counteracted her birth control. It's important to talk to your doctor how other drugs might interact with your birth control. This might not be 100% what the post was about, but I feel like it's important information. That babies are generally unplanned and can always happen. So make sure the person you are with is someone you can tolerate and work with for 18 years, and possibly more. If not, then you gotta take care of the kid, deal with his or her psychological issues of only having one parent. You gotta work daily to support your kid, meaning your dreams, goals, and activities come last. And you'll be broke a lot of the time. Actually wear a condom or insist your partner does until you know them well. I've seen a lot of bad shirt from people who got into the habit of going whatever one too many times. STDs suck, and so does having to call old partners and tell them in case they have it too. Pregnancy with people you don't want to see again, and abortions are really hard to go through too. If you don't find them comfortable, buy the extra large ones, and by all means have fun. I will share what my uncle shared with me. Rap that rascal and she comes first. Edit. My dad was much older when he had me. His youngest brother was very worldly. He was a Marine, and a big reason on why I joined. Ever since I was 10 or so, he took it upon himself to be 100% honest with me about life and how to be a man. When I got to HS, he had a sit down with me about sex. He counseled me on the truth about men and women. He told me few things that helped me have a great time. The top 2 were what I wrote. Always wear a condom. And, if some pretty young thing decides she is going to share herself with you, don't make her regret it. You make sure she comes first and it will pay dividends tenfold to you. I figured to shrink that down. No, don't wait until kids are 18. Tell them in basic sex education that binging on porn for masturbation without having any real experience with real people only conditions you to be dissociated and unresponsive with partners in adulthood, as well as making you oversensitive to normal human odors, normal body hair, etc. There are too many tales of woe of young Silicon Valley techie men who grew up only fapping excessively to porn and then, with their good jobs as young single guys, found they could attract lots of willing women but not get it up with them or worse, get shut down by the normal smell of butt that they hadn't expected. I'm not saying forbid young men to consume porn or to masturbate, just make sure they understand the risks of entirely substituting porn-assisted masturbation for at least social contact with real girls, even if there isn't any intimate contact. It's disastrous and has caused real problems for real people. Process, not product. I.e., enjoy the sex, don't just do it for the orgasm. Stress is not your friend in sex. It can be vanilla and boring with someone you love is better than crazy sex with that hot guy who just wants to hook up. Girls, what comes in must come out. Lay down a towel if you aren't using a condom. This was a dumb moment for me as soon as I sat up. Foreplay is sex, too. And for my friends who are loving on vaginas, you need to pet that body until that pussy is dripping and is opening up for you. Ideally, you should never have to shove yourself in that first inch or spread those lips. Make a want-won't list with your partner. Compare lists. Want is the list of stuff you have to have that you don't want to compromise on. The will list is stuff you don't necessarily want yourself, but stuff you are willing for them. Won't is stuff that's off the table. Revisit your lists regularly. Sometimes stuff changes. They have apps for this now, too. This is basically just talk about it. After sex, tell your partner the stuff they did that you really want them to do again. Be specific. Otherwise, it probably won't happen again. You have to work at and fight for good sex. Don't panic that you aren't having it. It's not all like the movies. Teens aren't banging everywhere all the time. Go at your own speed. Edit because I feel like people aren't getting what I'm saying. Sure, teens are having sex and some of them are having a lot of sex, but not everyone is having sex all the time, and you are the only one left out. There are loads of people who feel the same way as you, the only person in your school not having sex, so something must be wrong with you. This isn't true. Everyone is different. You may see a couple walking down the hall who have been dating for a year and only kissed. You may see a girl who you think is a virgin who is gangbanging dudes at the weekends. My point is that you shouldn't get upset or panic that you aren't having sex at the age of 14 to 18, because it'll happen when it happens. Just needed to clear it up for people saying that everyone is doing it 24/7. Looking back at my school years, if I had focused on my classes a little more than I focused on frantically trying to shag all the time because my classmates may have been, I would have done better at school. Focus on you, and when the time comes, make sure you enjoy it for what it is, two consenting people being intimate and having fun. Not two people desperately trying to funk so they can say they have. Everybody, for the most part, there are some exceptions, gets horny and wants to have and enjoy sex. It is not something that boys need to trick girls into or take from them or trade for, and vice versa. Treat people like human beings with their own lives, wants and needs, and if you find someone you have a good connection with, focus on making it special for both of you, building each other up, enjoying the present you both are in, rather than stressing about the future, and figure out what you can do to add to that person's life, not take from it. Also, if that person isn't doing that for you, ask yourself if it is something that is actually good for you. That is more about relationships in general tbh, but the framework applies to sex. Thank you. It is one of the most annoying and depressing things I had to put up with as a woman who enjoys sex, that I was constantly on the receiving end of guys who were trying to trick me into sex, even though I was already there, ready and enthusiastic about having sex. Like, dude, you don't need to buy me a Long Island iced tea. I was already down to have sex with you, and now you're making me feel really icky. Bonus points for if they act like they won when you give in, like yes, hello, I'm here to have sex too. You didn't flummox my female brain with your man tricks. I'm here because I wanted to be, but now I don't really want to be anymore. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the story time? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any more story times.